Well, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of A Closer Walk with Toe. She's been pretty dry out there, and I have a stinking hunch that the morel season has kind of come and gone around here anyways. One of our amazing subscribers mentioned that he found some up about 2,200 feet in elevation, so, if you're going to go looking, maybe they're up there. Now, last episode, we had our little duck cam set up there out in the bush. Unfortunately, at some point my camera fell over and it just took pictures of the ground, so I never caught the eggs being hatched. So, yeah, there's a possibility that they could have gotten eaten as well. But we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get there. Just come for a walk with us, see what we can see. Well, I gotta say, this is my first harvest off of that bottle, and I am quite happy. That's just my first harvest. And I've got a wonderful prime rib steak tonight, and I'm going to have steak and eggs and mushrooms and onions. Yum, yum, yum. Cannot wait. Eggs seem to be the theme. Looks like we got a little robin's eggshell. They're such a pretty color. I love robin's egg blue. Little tiny blotches on them. Beautiful. Yeah, every nest that I've come across, their babies are almost ready to fledge, so makes sense finding these little shells around. Oh, what an awesome find. Right at the base of this red alder, Alnus rubra, very common deciduous tree, hardwood around these parts here. We have some beautiful big fungi growing off of some of the sticks and logs at the base here. Let's pull one up and take a look. You can see that squirrels have had a little bit of a nibble on this one, but that's okay. Yeah. Alright, awesome. Okay, well, let's get this a little closer look here. So either way, there's these little tiny fibers on these stipes here. Now, these guys have a pink spore print, and it's kind of starting to show pinkish in here now. And these guys dump, like literally dump loads of spores, these salmon-colored spores. And they can also even sometimes have, with a hand lens, you can see some tiny, tiny fibers on the top of these guys. Now there are 5 different Pluteus that can look similar. They all have these little fibrils on their stipe. But the thing is 3 of those 5 like conifers, and 2 actually like the hardwoods. And the 2 that like the hardwoods are the Cervinus and Exilus. They are so similar that you actually have to use DNA to tell them apart. So this could be Pluteus cervinus, or it could be Pluteus exilus. Now these guys are edible, not classified as really choice edibles or anything, but they do have some amazing qualities to them. Now these guys actually, first off, they've got antioxidant qualities to them, and they are able to scavenge free radicals which do damage to our DNA. Now the other amazing thing about these guys is they have anti-diabetic qualities. So what that means is they have a compound in them that inhibits alpha amylase in our body. And alpha amylase breaks down carbohydrates into sugars. And so it inhibits that function. So instead of the sugars, we using it as energy and then or storing it as fat, it just stays as a carbohydrate and gets passed through our system. So we're not putting on weight or different things like that. These guys are just awesome. Now around, I guess it was 1770, Jacob Christian Stauffer described this as an agaricus and called it Agaricus cervinus. And about 100 years later, along came German mycologist Paul Kummer, and he described it as the Pluteus genus, and that's where she sits today. But yeah, these guys are really great. They're actually kind of prime right now. This one's been chewed on a little bit. You can cut that off. There's a few buggies on them, but I don't think that they're throughout the fungus. Now we're going to take some of these guys home because the last flush of oyster mushrooms are gone, and I'm still waiting for the next set to come out. So we're going to take some of these deer mushroom home. Now the reason why they're called the deer mushroom is because it was described as having the color of a deer's coat. Now I know that some people say that the Pleurocystidias have a kind of a antlers looking to them, and that's possibly, but But that's not apparently why they're called the deer mushroom. It's due to their colors, which is awesome. All right, I don't have my basket, but I do have a couple of poopy bags, and I'm going to throw some of these in here. Awesome. Right on. Yeah, they like very, very well-rotted wood. You can see this guy's very well-rotted. Cool. I'm going to load these guys up. You might be able to make out some of those tiny, tiny little fibrils on the top of the cap. But this is, I wanted to show you the amount of spores and the color that come out of these guys. Dun, 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 dun. Look at the amount of spores that just puked out of this thing. Absolutely crazy. And look at the beautiful color. Just so gorgeous. And yet, another chicken egg. I don't know what's going on, man. Like these things, like that's pretty, still fairly fresh in there. That's a chicken egg. There's no two ways about it. Oh yeah, there's even yolk on it still. Gross. But, so I'm thinking, this trail here leads all the way out there, and the fences of my property is probably a good 100 yards that way. And the trail carries on into the next property and goes all the way down like several miles of deer trail, just like this. And raccoons can travel up to 18 kilometers in a night to get food. And, well, this is definitely a chicken egg. Huh, so weird. Beautiful brown, just like they always are. Intriguing, yes. I love these little field daisies. Look at them all. They're just everywhere. These are Bellis perennis. Everything about these guys are edible. Yeah, they're just absolutely really cool. The field daisy, they got their name Day's Eye because they're open in the day and they close up at night. Very cool. Anyways, just had to stop and admire. Here's some old artist conchs. These are Ganoderma applanatum. These guys, you'll see that they get this kind of, it looks like cinnamon dust on them. Yeah, they're related to the reishi. Oh, this one's actually trying to get a new spore body going on there. And these guys are called the artist conchs because you can mark their spore surface. And some people do amazing art with these guys. Yeah, just wild. You'd think, but looking at the top of them, they were dead. But no, they are not. They're just getting ready to refurbish themselves and do some more sporulation. Very cool. I have to say, this time of year, the madrone flowers, Arbutus menziesii here, they smell up the forest so nice. It's just, the whole forest is just amazing. There's so many different smells. These guys are just, they just smell so sweet. Awesome to put in your water. If you just got plain water, throw some of these in there and it'll just give you a nice little bit of flavor boost to it. It's not, it's faint, but the flavor is there, and they're just, it's really, really lovely. Really nice. And these are just about prime to be doing that. And I don't seem to have any water bottle with me, so funny how that works. Either way, the smells are just amazing out in the forest right now. And then not only do we have the amazing smells of the arbutus, but we also have the amazing smells of the English holly. This is the Ilex aquifolium. It has an artificial grape smell. It's just really like, it smells like a grape crush or something like that. It's just so good. The forest just smells amazing right now. Just absolutely awesome. And then when you throw into the mix, you know, like some of the branches and stuff that came down and their needles are coming off. Oh, it just smells so good. It's I love the smell of the forest pretty much any time of year, but spring just makes it all that much better. Now, if you were just cruising through the forest, there's two things you might think these are. One would be rocks. This one is a rock. This one is not, nor is that one, nor those. Now, I've mentioned how the amanitas, when they're in their button stage, they can look very much like a lycoperdon. And these guys look very much like one. This guy especially, but once you dig them up, and you look a little closer, you see, oh, this guy's got a vulva. And I was kind of hoping that actually one of these hadn't broken out and they were still in their vulva, because that would have been much easier to give you a demonstration where I can cut it in half and you can see on the inside of the button that there's a little shadow of a mushroom cap, like a little silhouette of a mushroom inside the actual little button. And it looks like a lycoperdon until you cut it open. Lycoperdons do not have that. They are totally solid white when they're edible. But yeah, well, we've covered these guys a lot, so let's carry on. Would you look at the size of this burl? Wow, isn't that wicked? Here's my hand. This is crazy town. This thing's just a monster. So when this tree was cut, it forms this scar to try and protect the rest of itself, even though it's been completely removed. However, looks like we have another one just growing right out of it. Or parallel to, anyways. But yeah, it's just a monster. I think that's bigger than my head, and that's pretty big. Okay, so here's where the nest was. Now, here's the thing, is there's a couple of things could have happened. One, a raccoon could have come along and taken all the eggs. That is a possibility. Two, the eggs could have hatched and she took them away. Because once they've been dried off for, I think it takes them about 8 to 10 hours for their little feathers to dry, then they're able to go and swim. So, and the water's not very far from here. Now, I learned a couple of neat things about ducks while I was investigating them. So one of the things is ducks, after they their eggs hatch, they eat the shells. They try to get the calcium back, and they can get back something like 60% of the shells, which is really neat. Two, they lay one egg every 2 days, which is quite neat, and it takes them almost 30 days for them to hatch, so that's pretty neat too. And one other thing I found out about ducks, mallards in particular, their life expectancy is 3 years. Now that sounds pretty short, but here's the thing, is they can actually live up to 20 years. But their expectancy is only 3 because, well, everybody likes the taste of duck. So yeah, they're kind of high on the predators list. So that's probably why that their survival rate is quite low. But nonetheless, it was a neat experience, and I really wished I would have caught the actual hatching of the little ducklings, if that happened. And I actually would have liked to have seen if something actually got them too, but unfortunately my camera was tied up to one of these branches, and I guess in the wind another branch came down, hit that branch, and it got knocked down and pointed to the ground. So I've got a couple of little bad shots of some mice running around under it, but either way, I will put up what I've got of our beautiful mother duck being a wonderful mother that she was, and it's really neat to watch. So gotta love nature, my friends. Okay, so not 20 feet from the nest, this is a duck egg. See how it's kind of got that green tinge to it? Yeah, whatever it was, oops. Yeah, whatever it was, got it. So this was obviously broken into and not broken out of, unfortunately. So that probably tells me that some kind of predator got our duckies. Either way, that's too bad, but it is the circle of life, and we'll just carry on and probably find a couple more eggshells along the way, because there were 9 of them. Sorry, sweetheart. Just checking. Just checking.